Here we have the Hot Wheels A-OK. I guess that's panel truck, delivery truck. I don't know. Bumper's a little jacked up. Paint's worse for wear, but it's all there. Somebody's taken a leafing pen to the wheels and leafed the heck out of it. But we're gonna fix her up and get her back on the road. Alright guys, so we are working on the A-OK taxi for Autodriven.one64’s. Some others have asked to see a little bit more of my process, so I'm going to fix you up. I've already drilled out the base, and now we're going to take it apart. There's our base, it's in pretty good shape. The wheels, somebody has taken a paint pen to and kind of clogged them up. I don't know, I may try to clean those up. I may just swap them out. We'll find out. Our bottom part of the interior is in pretty good shape. Just needs a little cleanup, I think. Not too worried about that. We'll get our motor out of here. And there also comes the glass with it. We're in good shape. Got both front headlights on this one. Needs a little bit of work with a chrome pin, but other than that, it's in great shape. Really happy about that. Most of them are missing a headlight somewhere. Got a little bit of paint. Somebody has got in there, probably with a brush. Got some on the glass, but we'll get that cleaned up as well as we can and see if we can't make it to where you can see through the glass again. Next, I'm going to clean up these posts and then I'm going to tap them. That way we can put our screws in it. Alright, I'm going to do that off camera. I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Alright, so when I'm cleaning up these posts to get ready to drill it, I could use my Dremel, but I find it easiest just to use a file. A little bit of elbow grease. Way more controllable. Alright, so that's how I do that part. Alright, so we got our post drilled, tapped, we've got our screws set. Now we're going to dip this body, get all this paint off of it. Alright, so I showed this part on a video not too long ago, but I was going to let you know I do continue to reuse that stripper. You do not have to add new stripper every time you dip another car. It'll last for several cars. Alright, I'm going to leave that in there probably overnight, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, I just now noticed the camera is sideways, so this isn't going to come out quite the way I wanted it, but we'll make it work. Alright guys, we'll be back. So the next thing we're going to work on are these, I'm going to call them rear bumpers. You can see they're both kicked up a little bit. The driver's side much worse than the passenger side. This is metal, but it's real brittle when you go to yanking and pulling on it, so I'm going to be real careful, see if I can't get it straightened out. So let's see what we can do with it. Alright, so I've got it in my little vise here, tightened down, and I'm just going to easily push. I do not want to go very fast, and I don't know that I'll try to get them completely straight. Just straighter is probably fine. We're much straighter now than we were before, so I'm gonna pull it out of there. We're gonna give that a look. Much better. Appear to be in good shape, no cracks. Straighter bumper. I think we can live with that. Moving on. Alright, next we're going to get to work on these wheels. I have decided I am going to go ahead and replace them. Not 100% sure with what yet. once we go back on with our body and everything, I don't think we'll have any issue with the back, and I think we've got enough clearance on the front. Currently it's got two different sizes on it, but I should be able to put a larger size on the front. So at this time I'm planning to use a set of monoblocks on it. I'm going to go ahead and cut the axles out so as to keep our little piece there in the center. That way those axles don't float, because there's nothing really on the bottom of the body that would hold those axles in if we do it any other way. Alright, I'm going to get started on that. Time to go fishing. There is our A-OK. And now, just start brushing that paint off. Inside and out. Comes off pretty good. Next step, I'll take it in there and just give it a good washing in the sink and get rid of everything. So we've got our body out, we've got it cleaned up. We still need to do some polishing to bring it back to a shine. Get rid of all the little bits of paint. But for the most part, the stripper bath did its job. It's going to make the rest of it pretty easy. Alright, so we're going to get started. Next we're going to cut those wheels off like we talked about. I'm going to use my Dremel. I use a Dremel 4000. Fairly cheap model. And this is what I use mainly when I just do a rehab. I've got a little wire brush head. This is not metal. So, I mean, if you run it across your finger, it really doesn't even hurt. We do have the cutoff wheel. I've never run that across my finger and don't plan to. I'm guessing it would hurt. And then we've got the little polishing wheel. And that's hit my finger plenty of times. It doesn't really hurt either. It can burn once everything gets heated up, but for the most part, not too bad. Alright, I'm going to put on the cutting wheel, and then we'll cut those wheels off. Alright, so I'm back. We'll see if we can do this. It's been about 20 seconds since I turned the camera off. That's how long it takes. But you don't have to cut all the way through the axle. It'll just pop on off. And then you can just pull it out. And there's our base. Alright, we're going to swap over and put on the little wire wheel and clean this stuff up some more. Alright, so we've taken our little brush head and Dremel and got it pretty polished up. Also done the base. Looks a lot better. Next, we're going to use the Mother's Magnet aluminum polish. We're just going to smear it on, rub it around. And then before we let it dry, you don't want to let it dry, we're going to put our polishing head on the Dremel and we're going to polish it up. And the more of this process that you do, the shinier that casting will get. And then when the paint that I'm planning to use is the Duplicolor Metal Cast. I'm thinking I'll do this one in red. And you can see through the paint and you'll get a lot of that shine on the outside. So that's where we're headed next. Alright, as you can see, I've added the polish and worked it in pretty good. It turns black as it's polishing, so that's a good sign. We've got our polishing head on our Dremel, so we're going to finish it off. Alright, there we are after polishing it. Got a good shine. Now we're going to move on to cleaning up the interior. Hopefully get the paint off of this windshield. Go from there. Alright, so I've been experimenting with our windshield, which had all the orange paint on it. And what I finally elected to do, I'll show you. I'm after the fact now. But I put it in my vise, and I just used my file to take the paint off of it. And then I pulled it out and I took some 600 grit, which is the lightest sandpaper I have, and cleaned it up some. I'm going to get it all washed up, and then we're going to dip it in the future floor polish. And hopefully that's going to come out pretty good. It'll dang sure come out better than all that orange paint would have. Alright, we're going to move on to the next step. Alright, so we're going to try this. Basically all I do, get a little bit of crazy glue, put on the edge of the axle, and then I'll insert that axle into the wheel. Oops. There we go. And then we're going to let that one dry. We'll repeat for the second axle. After that, we'll cut them down. We'll slide it through, and then we'll glue the other wheel on after it's in place. And then the axle will float free in that frame and get us a good roller. Next thing we're going to do is try to add some detail to this engine. I'm not even going to try to do this on camera, but I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Alright, so we're using the Duplicolor metal cast paint in red. That's what it looks like. I got my can at AutoZone. It costs about $11, so it is kind of expensive. But it's like any other rattle can. Just shake her up real good, and then we'll start spraying. You want to go real light when you start. And as you add coats, you can get a little thicker. The thicker you go, the less of the metal will shine through, so the less shine you'll get. You need to wait about 15 minutes between coats. And I wouldn't put too many coats on it, because then you just get regular red paint. Alright, there's coat number one. Alright, so while we're waiting on our first coat to dry, we're going to go ahead and we're going to dip our windshield that we talked about. All that is just floor polish, future, and we just dip it in there. And we're going to give it a few minutes to sit there, then we'll pull it out, set it on that paper towel, let it dry. That's the original future that I put in there way long ago, so I mean, once you pour your little bowl up, that's all you'll ever need, probably. Alright, we're going to get to work putting the wheels on. Alright, so we've got our pieces ready to go back together. Give it a little more time. There's our base, got our wheels on it, got everything cleaned up, detailed up. Got our body painted. Really can't see it all that well the way the lights are, but we will soon. Got our windshield ready to go. So I'm gonna give it a couple, 3 more hours to cure out a little better. Then I'm gonna put it apart. Then I'm gonna put it back together. All right, check back then.